The People's Democratic Party crisis has escalated after the Ibadan convention. Abuja became the battleground as rival factions clashed at the party secretariat for 3 hours. Police fired tear gas as governors and party officials scrambled. At the center is the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike. His faction announced the expulsion of key figures, including governors Seyi Makinde, Bala Mohammed, Dauda Lawal, and former Deputy National Chairman Bode George, BOT Chair Adolfo Swabara, and National Chairman Kabiru Turaki. Now, Turaki's camp insists the convention was legitimate and accuses Wike of using state power to destabilize the party. The PDP's neck has moved to enforce discipline, dissolve state congresses, recover defected seats, and launch reconciliation ahead of 2027. But with expulsions, parallel meetings, and violent clashes, the question remains, can the PDP restore unity, or is Nigeria opposition sliding deeper into chaos? Well, joining me right now to discuss this is, of course, Khalid Barao, is the SSA to the Executive Governor of Bauchi State on empowerment. He joins virtually from Abuja. It's great to have you again, Khalid.
It's my pleasure, Mr. Dapo.
All right. I mean, we've been on this conversation for as long as I can remember, and Nigerians saw a lot of drama today at the Wadata Plaza in Abuja, where different factions of your party, that's the People's Democratic Party, seem to be at loggerheads as regards its leadership. But an interesting outcome of what we realized, or Nigerians woke up to, is a faction loyal to the FCT minister seem to reciprocate what happened at the National Convention in Ibadan. They expelled some members, key figures of the party, and in it is your principal, the governor of Bauchi State. That's of course, His Excellency, that's Bala Mohammed. So my question to you is this: at the moment, is this still a member of the People's Democratic Party?
Thank you, Mr. Daffo, for having me. Good evening, fellow Nigerians, wherever you are all over the world. Let me first of all begin by condoling the Nigerian army for the aftermath of what really happened a few days ago. We lost some of our gallant soldiers who are on the line of duty to defend the sovereignty and integrity of this nation, including one of the most vibrant Brigadier General Yubi Uba, who tragically lost his life in the hands of ISWAP. And let me also sympathize with the government and people of Kebbi State over the recent abduction of over 20 school children and the killing of a vice principal. You see, if not because of this very important issue to discuss, I would have said I'm in a state of mourning now, currently with what happened in Nigeria. Nigeria is becoming
All right, of course, while we are still trying to connect with Khalid, let's bring into the conversation Ama Abraham, is the state chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Abia State. He joins virtually from Abuja. Also joining the conversation is Dixon Rego, a PDP member. Gentlemen, I'd like to say once again, welcome, thank you for your time. Khalid, I think we have you back. Let's quickly allow you conclude your line of thought before I move my question. So I'm going to ask you, the faction loyal to the FCT minister expelled some key officials of the People's Democratic Party. Of course, on that list includes your principal, the governor of Bauchi State. And I asked a question, is he still a member? Does he still consider himself a member of the People's Democratic Party?
We have a faction in the PDP. What I know is that we have a splinter group, a group of aggrieved members of the party who are very, very disloyal to the party, who have been, previously suspended, and now they are expelled from the party entirely. So it's not a factional group; it's a splinter group. You see, just this afternoon we received a letter from INEC, confirming to us that PDP has no faction. PDP has no existing leadership. The leadership PDP knows is the leadership of Kabiru Turaki. So if some people, a group of some aggrieved party members went and, write a paper, it's just, to me, it's just, they're just wasting their time because Governor Bala Mohammed, as the chairman of the Governors Forum, I don't think there is anybody in that group who can command PDP just like he's commanding PDP today. He's the hero of democracy as it is today.
All right, so you are confirming that in spite of this announcement by this splinter group, according to you, Governor Bala Mohammed is still a bona fide member of the PDP.
I am not even doubting that. I'm just telling you this without any iota of doubt, that there is no any faction in the PDP.
All
what
right.
we have is a splinter group. It's an aggrieved members of the party who felt they are, who are very, very disloyal to the party, and as it is today, they are not even members of the PDP.
There are no more members of the PDP.
Bala Mohammed is a PDP member, of course, without any iota of doubt.
Okay, let me bring into the conversation right now Mr. Ama Abraham is the state chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Abia State. Maybe I would just also put this to you, because we know that at the convention in Ibadan, there was an announcement of the expulsion of certain key officers within the party. Mr. Abraham, your name was on that list. They said you are expelled from the People's Democratic Party, during the convention. So I'm still going to ask you too, do you still consider yourself a member of the PDP?
INEC did not write anybody to inform anybody or group of persons that Tabminu Saraki, Turaki, SAN, is the recognized chairman. And I want to challenge them, if they have such a letter, let them put it up for the public to see. There is no such communication from INEC. Rather, what I can tell you is that the current National Working Committee have their constitutional tenure up till 8th of December 2025. And then thereafter, INEC can make any updates. That is what I can tell you. Now, having said that, I also want to add that there was no national convention at Ibadan. I say that with every sense of responsibility, because political parties in Nigeria are regulated by the Independent National Electoral Commission. And the Independent National Electoral Commission does that by through the instrumentality of the Supreme Law, which is the 1999 Constitution as amended of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the 1922 2022 Electoral Act as amended, and then the 2017 Constitution of the party as amended, and of course INEC guidelines to political parties. That spells out certain requirements for any political party going for a national convention. And amongst what that guideline spells out is that within 7 days of that national convention, that a political party should submit name of aspirants vying for offices for INEC, and that they must also submit names of those who will be saddled with the responsibility of voting as delegates. All these requirements of the law, including writing a letter to INEC for 21 days notice, all these requirements of the law were not met. Therefore, it is, since it was not met, it is improper for anybody to say that there was a national convention at Ibadan. And of course, INEC did confirm that by technically and tactfully withdrawing from that election. I am a state chairman of Abia PDP. The Congress that brought me to office had 22 INEC officials. 12 of them were from the national office at Abuja, and about 10 of them were from the state office at Umuahia. They were part of my election, so there is no reason whatsoever why the national INEC, the office, and even the office at Ibadan will not monitor those congresses. So they will not monitor, because
just to get this out of the way.
Besides that,
just to get this out of the way, in spite of the announcement made at the convention expelling you as a member, you still consider yourself the state chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Abia State?
No, listen, as I said, there was no convention. There was no convention.
So what would you call what happened? What would you call what happened in Ibadan?
Listen, there was no national convention at Ibadan. As I said, the management of political party must observe certain rules of engagement. And as I said, INEC is the regulator of that industry. And as I said, there are extant laws that must be respected. And I said that Ibadan meeting did not meet with the electoral requirements. And as such, it will be improper for anybody to adduce the fact that there was a convention. There was no convention at Ibadan. What they had at Ibadan was the freedom of individuals to meet and then party, and then because even by their own announcement, the chairman of that convention, it is a tradition of national conventions that the chairman of the national convention will come up, invoke certain section of the constitution and declare the convention open. But the Governor Fintri came out of Adamawa State and told the delegates that, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, that from every indication, INEC is not part of these elections, this national convention, and that I doubt if it will be possible for us to continue with the national convention. And he walked away from that convention. He was never part of it. And up to today, he's not part of what they did.
All right.
And a few moments later, another governor also disassociated himself. There was no national convention at Ibadan.
All right.
It doesn't meet the requirements of the law.
Thank you very much. We'll definitely come back to this conversation. Let's go on a quick break. When we return, we'll be taking the reaction of course, Dixon Uregbu, who is also a People's Democratic Party member, and also Barao. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on News Central Television, and of course we are looking at the People's Democratic Party and its internal crisis, which of course has got a lot of Nigerians talking. Well, let me bring the conversation straight to you, Dixon Uregbu, People's Democratic Party member. You were at the convention, at the secretariat today in Abuja, and I'm even made to understand that you were attacked, you suffered some bruises. What exactly went down? I mean, you're a bona fide party member, very passionate. With what you saw today at your party, can you just, walk us what you experienced?
Thank you for the opportunity this evening. I am very grateful that I'm alive, because indeed what I witnessed or experienced today at the Wadata Plaza I've never experienced it all my life, where some hoodlums came on me. Immediately they cited me. Of course, they mentioned my name, don't come here, and all of that, meaning that I was a clear target. And I know the faces. These people work with the former National Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, Senator Sam Anyanwu.
So you recognize the faces of those that attacked you?
Sense of understanding.
You recognize the faces of those who attacked you?
I recognized the faces of at least 3 of them, but there were about 4 or 5. I recognize the faces. I can mention Ima, who I'm sure even my brother and senior brother from Abia, I'm sure he knows Ima. He worked very closely with Senator Sam Anyanwu, his own ally. And by the way, this is a man that I staked out my neck for beginning of this year, from January up to when the issue of the office he occupied, the office of the National Secretary, was being challenged. I stood with him. And that's because the constitution of our party was clear that resignation, because you're contesting for any position out there, is optional. So I stood with him even up to Supreme Court. I got insults. I got people talk down at me, because they believed that supporting him was more like me going against the wishes of the Nigerian people. Because what is the wish of the Nigerian people? To get an alternative to the current state of our nation. Because people need to even understand what this whole crisis in PDP is about. Why are we having conflict with people who have, played great roles in the development of PDP, and also PDP as a party has added value to their life and all that. Like the FCT minister couldn't have become anything that he is politically today without mentioning People's Democratic Party, from the chairmanship level up to where he finished as governor for 8 years, and now even the appointment he has with APC, it is still as appointed with the notice of the People's Democratic Party. So, but unfortunately, these people decided to now become a stumbling block and decide that the party should not produce a candidate in 2027 simply because they are supporting the current president. And we as a party said, no, we are not going to subscribe to that, because if we are now narrowing the politics in Nigeria or the democracy of our country to a one-party state, the People's Democratic Party that held sway for 16 years will not sit back and watch that. And we said, no, let the contestation still be available. If we go to the polls in 2027 and through a credible process, eventually the current president wins, well, it's fine and good. But to say, no, that you will stifle the voices of the opposition and all of that, we said no to it. And that is what is the conflict, so that people need to understand it. The conflict is that these people on this other side are going to remain in PDP and then still support the current president to come back to power in 2027. This is what the issue is. We don't have a challenge with people, wanting to move out of the party to support the president. We don't have a challenge with that. But staying back in the party and, my brother, as a journalist, as you're working for News Central, will you finish working here and go to channels to go and receive salary? Or you go to Arise to go and receive salary? No. Can you be in channels and Arise at the same time? No. So this is the challenge, that a people who are said to be loyal, committed members of a party will say that they will not support the party to go through the process of producing a candidate that will take over power in
But Dixon,
this is the conflict that we have.
Yeah, but just before I move away from you, one of the reasons, will I call it faction, permit me to use that word in this context, please. The other faction is saying is that, look, that convention that happened in Ibadan didn't have any legitimate backing. INEC, for instance, was not present. Some delegates walked out. Some governors at some point tried to distance themselves from some decisions made. So where does that leave, all of it when it comes to decision making? Who is in charge?
There's no vacuum in the leadership structure of the People's Democratic Party. The current chairman of the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party is Barrister Taminu Turaki, SAN. That is our current chairman. And then the talk about the convention not being legal and all that, but that's a lie. That's a narrative being painted by these people that I have described, and and why they are doing what they are doing. One, it was at the 101 NEC, where INEC was present, that the decision to convoke the convention was activated. At the 101 NEC. Then all the processes, then at the 102, the National Secretary, Senator Samuel Anyanwu, at that 102 meeting, moved a motion for the adoption of normalization of the office of the National Chairman as a substantive chairman and no more acting chairman and all of that. And all issues about the convention, all documents and all of that was co-signed by both the chairman and the National Secretary. And of course, notice was given to INEC. And that is what the Electoral Act requires, that within 21 days, notice must be given to INEC concerning it. Now, the option of INEC being present, the same Electoral Act left it for INEC to be discretional, because it's for them to decide, because there's a may there, not a shall. Okay. What is compulsory is that you notify INEC within 21 days, and that was done. Then please, let me land on this. The chairman of the convention did not walk out from, I was there. So that person who is telling us a story about, how he walked out, he didn't walk out. Yes, after the motion, there were about 4 or 5 motions that were moved and adopted. I think one of it, and we don't begrudge him for that. Yes, Wike is his personal friend. And so when the aspect of expulsion now was, mentioned and all of that, he had his reservation, and we understand it. But the convention is the highest organ of the party, and any decision that is taken there stands. Then talking about the quorum, what is required is a 2/3 majority. We had more than 2/3 majority for that convention. So anybody saying the narrative about how that convention is not legal does not know what he or she is saying. They are just, in there to destabilize PDP so that it does not produce a candidate in the 2027 contest. And that we have, succeeded in wriggling ourselves out of the hands of these people who have been so far expelled. If they are going to reapply to the party, because no one individual or group of individuals can be said to be bigger than the party.
All right, thank you so much.
You cannot take a position against the neck position.
Thank you so much. I mean, we really empathize with you, Dixon. You said you were attacked, and we empathize with you. We hope you'll really get better soon. We can see that, of course, that appears to be an abscess on your head. Sincere apologies there, we empathize. But let's quickly go on a quick break. When we return, I'll be coming to you, Barrow, to, of course, react to some of the issues that have been laid out, and what exactly is in the horizon for the People's Democratic Party. What should Nigerians look forward to? Stay with us, we'll be right back. Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on News Central Television. I still have my guests with me, Khalid Barrow, and of course I have Dixon Urego and Abraham Ama. Gentlemen, thank you for staying with me. Now, let me come to you, Khalid. Khalid, a lot has been said. I would particularly make reference to some of the things Barrister Abraham did say. He questioned the legality of that Ibadan conference. He described it as more or less a constellation of friends who are just having a great time. And the big question also on the lips of many Nigerians is, looking at what is going on within the People's Democratic Party, who exactly is in control? Which leadership should Nigerians say is in charge? And do you even consider someone like Mr. Abraham Ama, for instance, who was expelled on the day of the National Convention, a state chairman? Do you still consider him a state chairman representing the party in Abia State?
Mr. Dapu, the entirety of this discussion, the entirety of this crisis is the question of morality. Like my brother just said, Mr. Dixon, what INEC needs on this issue, entire issue of a convention, is for you to give a 21-day notice. And we have given that notice. And the then national chairman, national secretary of the party, Senator Samuel Anyanwu, co-signed the letter with the outgoing national chairman, His Excellency Ambassador Umar Iliada Mabun. So for INEC to attend that convention, it's not our own right to command INEC to attend that convention. It's their own right whether to attend or not to attend. But it's a discretionary. So it's not compulsory for them to attend. So we conducted a convention, and the convention was valid and legitimate.
How about the controversial court rulings around the convention?
Pardon?
The court rulings around the convention.
Look, entire court ruling, there are two competent court of the same jurisdiction who gave order. If they want us to abide by their own court order, then they should also abide by our own court order. So if our own court order cannot be abided, then we cannot abide their own court order. We also have a court order with us, and they are court of the same competent jurisdiction. So right. if they don't agree with our own convention, then they should go to appeal court, because we already have a judgment by Justice Akintola of Oyo State High Court. So there is no reason whatsoever you will want us to abide by what you want, and you don't want us to abide by what we want you to abide by. And for that, and again, let me remind you, the former National Secretary, Senator Samuel Anyanwu, is not a member of our party, even before the convention. He was suspended, including, 4 of them were suspended. The then National Secretary, Senator Samuel Anyanwu, the former National Legal Advisor, Kamaldeen Ajibade, the former National Organizing Secretary, Umar Bature, and all of them were suspended even before the convention. So that brings the issue of morality here. The same Samuel Anyanwu, their own splinter group, wrote to INEC that they have postponed Ekiti State Congresses. And they wrote this letter on the 6th of November, and it was received by INEC Secretary. And the same INEC wrote a letter to them on the 10th of November, notifying them that we don't recognize this letter from you because you have already written a letter to us by the national chairman and the national secretary. It was co-signed. This is to tell you that Samuel Anyanwu doesn't have a ground to call himself a national secretary of a party that already has a national secretary, Ambassador Tofik Arapaja. So I don't know what all these people are saying. Even Mr. Dixon have said it all. That these people are working towards PDP should not have a presidential candidate by 2027.
Maybe we should also ask.
Let me finish. You asked me a question. Let me finish, please. Whether you're from Rivers or you're from you're from Imo State, you doesn't have the monopoly to say that PDP belongs to you. PDP, see, the labels of our heroes shall never go in vain. The late Abubakar Rimi, the late Tony Anini, the late Audu Ogbe, the late a lot of them have labored so very well, so hard to entice this democracy in Nigeria. And they have built this party, and some people will just come overnight and take over the realm of this party and said, how can 4 people expel 14? 14 people sat down at the Congress Hall of the PDP Secretariat in Wadata Plaza and suspend these hooligans that call themselves leaders of the party. So I don't know where all these things are coming from.
All right. Thank you.
My message is to the president of this country. You've spent the last 4 decades fighting for democracy in Nigeria. And overnight, one of your puppets will come and destroy this democracy that you enjoy it and become the president of this country? No, we can never allow this to happen. We are young people, and we know that we have a future in this country, and we will never let our democracy crumble. As my national chairman, His Excellency Kabiru Tanimutraki, SAN, said, we have laid down our lives to protect this democracy. We are going to protect this democracy against any hooligan, any kind of barbarism, any kind of...
All right, Khalid, I know you have a lot to say, but we're also trying to manage time. I'm coming to you now, Barrister Ama Abraham. I mean, maybe you'd like to react to some of the things that have been said, but there's a particular, will I call it notion now, that some individuals within the party are conniving to ensure that the party is not able to stand and present a presidential candidate in 2027. Some are even saying that these individuals are working almost tirelessly against the interest of the party. What's your take on this notion?
The media has given us sufficient space to at least protect the entire society from the effects of a single story. That is the assumption of certain people. But let me just tell you, it's not about anybody trying to call anybody hooligans. It's not about people not disrespect, an attempt by certain individuals to disrespect people. What is happening in the party today is the failure of leadership, where leadership has failed to be diplomatic and be sensitive and to sue and to approach peace. The chairman of the board, the former chairman of the board of trustee, the suspended chairman, Senator Wabara, constituted a reconciliation committee on his own. And this reconciliation committee was made up of eminent personalities drawn from the 6 geopolitical zones, 6 of them. And this committee met and they took a decision and submitted their recommendations to the board. And the board threw the entire 10 recommendations back on their faces and rejected everything submitted by them. If these leaders have seen the need to go for peace and to sit down and sort out differences, probably PDP would not be where they are today. Eminent personalities who have contributed for the advancement of this party, like the former governor of Kwara State, His Excellency Bukola Saraki, and former Senate President of this country, all of them have told all who care to listen that the only way to move forward is for parties to sit down and resolve whatever differences they have. When people decided to jettison 2 judgments, I'm talking about judgments, I'm not talking about an ex parte order where a single party just went to the court and then did something and then the court, but I'm talking about a judgment where all parties were represented by their counsel in the court, and over a time the court listened to each of them and they all presented their position, their addresses, their arguments, and then the court delivered judgment. 2 judgments of a federal high court were jettisoned, and people decided to proceed for a national convention. That did not mean anything to them. People, including those who are lawyers and who knows nothing about the law, are trying to interpret what the law says about INEC supervising political parties and 21 days letters which INEC does not have any in their custody. You see, this type of, we are not a debating society in a secondary school where by the end of the day, maybe they will say this is a winner. We should all be committed on what can be done.
So what
to
do you
bring back?
Oh, so in clear terms, in clear terms,
yes,
before we go on this break, sorry, what can be done in bullet points? What can be done to bring back, in your words, sir, your party, the People's Democratic Party, to life? In clear terms, 30 seconds.
To listen to the counsel of the 6 wise men.
What are the 6 wise men? What are these 6 wise men?
The 6 wise men are the members of the Reconciliation Committee set up by the very people who rejected their reports. They have to listen to the counsel of men like His Excellency Bukola Saraki. They have to listen. You understand? They have to listen to men like that, to listen to those counsel.
Does that also include counsel of men? Sorry, does that also include the counsel of the FCT minister?
I didn't hear you.
Does that also include the counsel of the FCT minister, His Excellency Nyesom Wike?
Every good counsel, the position of the Nyesom Wike, the minister of the FCT, has been very simple. Let us play by the rule of engagement. You see, every organization, whether in corporate Nigeria or amongst the political parties or even charities, must operate by the rules of engagement. They call it compliance. When you jettison compliance, the consequences is sanction.
All right.
You don't just say you stand as an organization, you follow due process, you comply with the law. You understand? In this case, we have the supreme law, which is the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We have the Electoral Act, and we also have the Constitution of the party and INEC guidelines to political parties on what ought to be done.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Before a political party can embark on a national convention.
All right, thank you so much. We'll go on a quick break. When we return, we'll be taking our final thoughts on this and what we feel can be done as, gentlemen yourselves, as PDP party members, to move the party forward and skill this crisis hurdle. Stay with us. We'll be right back. You are still watching Politics HQ on News Central Television, and of course we are looking at the crisis within the People's Democratic leadership crisis, that is, within the People's Democratic Party, and the way forward. I still have my guest with me, but let me come to you quickly, Dixon. Dixon, I'm going to go back to your experience. You said you experienced earlier today you are, harassed, beaten up, tear gassed, and all of that. I just want to ask. Quickly, as a party member, do you feel safe? Because you said your attackers, you could identify them and they could even identify you, given a scenario of you being a clear target of some sort. Do you feel safe as a party member, and are you considering defecting too?
My brother, I have come of age in life. I have gone through the processes of life, and I am a Christian. I know that fear is not of God. I don't live my life in fear. I know that my life belongs to God and not to man. Nobody can take it, and nobody has any right whatsoever. So I am safe, very safe, but I'm cautious. Cautious because this ought to be a family that I was part of. And simply because reasoning didn't prevail in their camp, they decided to now come out even against me to the level of wanting to inflict injury on me. Simply because I said, no, you have a right to your choice of candidate for 2027. But sir, I have a right also to mine. And if your position is that you are going to stay in our party and support another candidate, then I will not be with you. I would rather stay in the other camp. And if anybody is doubting it, it is already in the public domain. Nyesom Wike, the leader of that group, has made it public that 2027, he is going to support Tinubu for 2027. And we don't support that. We are saying that this government has failed and our party is able to present a more a credible candidate that can better the lives of the Nigerian people. Then the other aspect of what can be done, you see, the convention is the highest organ of the party. Now, anything taken there, the rest can only be taken to God in prayers or you go to court. And then, of course, when my elder brother there stated the issues of court orders and all that, have we forgotten the Supreme Court ruling also? The Supreme Court has ruled on the matter about political party. Political party issues are internal, and the court has no jurisdiction whatsoever to meddle into the affairs of a political party. But they chose to go to court. Yes, fine, they went to court, and we also went to court. And we chose also that because this is already a legally activated process, that is the convention now, because it was at NEC that we activated that process. And if my brother doesn't know, then probably as a former state chairman, maybe he didn't perform well, because if he doesn't know that the party communicated to INEC within the 21 days, then I am disappointed really that he was ever one of the state chairmen of our party, because INEC was duly communicated to. And if he also doesn't know the Electoral Act to know that it is not compulsory for INEC to be present, then I am also disappointed, because it is there clearly in black and white that INEC may choose to attend.
All right.
So if INEC didn't attend, well, too bad for them.
All right,
if they
Dixon.
were waiting on that to be a challenge for us.
All right, Dixon.
The law
In 30 seconds.
it, and we are law abiding.
All right, now in 30 seconds before I leave you, for the expelled party members, during the convention, what's your message to them?
My message to them is that now that they have been expelled because they have chosen a candidate in Tinubu, they might as well join the APC like other governors who have defected. They should leave PDP alone. They think that we exist because of them. No, it is called the People's Democratic Party.
All right.
It's about the people.
All right,
and
thank you very much.
Not about the governors.
Thank you.
Not about some special people.
Thank you.
Okay, so they can join the APC and then move on from there.
All right. Just quickly also, Khalid Barao, your final thoughts on this. How do you think your party, the PDP, can move forward? 30 seconds.
PDP is no longer looking for a way to move forward. PDP is looking for a way to take over this country in 2027. We are formidable. We are everywhere. In the whole 36 states, in the 774 local government, in over 1,000 or 2,000 state electoral wards, we are everywhere. So we are just waiting for 2027 to come as we present our credible and most compassionate president, a president that has the love of North and South, East and West of this country, a president that can be able to, take Nigeria to the dreamland, not a president that would just sit down in his office or in his comfort zone and see how his countrymen are living in abject poverty. Our inflation rate is over 33%. All these kind of things. So we want a Nigeria that was a Nigeria before 2015. We want a Nigeria where everybody will have a foot on the table. We want a Nigeria where everybody will feel safe.
All right, Khalid, because we really need to go. Khalid, I'm sorry, but we really need to go. In 30 seconds, what's your message to the members of your party that were expelled during the convention? Did you get my question, Khalid?
Pardon?
I said your message, 30 seconds, to members of your party that were expelled during the convention.
They are not members of our party, so I don't have anything to tell them. Just like my elder brother, Mr. Dixon, said, they should just go and register themselves in the APC, because that is where they belong, because they have made it publicly clear to every Nigerian that they are going to support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027.
Okay, so let me just pick it up from there and ask Mr. Ama Abraham. So your former party members within this context have said that since you've been expelled from the convention, during the convention, that you should join the APC. Are you considering that?
His Excellency Bala Mohammed is already making the move.
We, of course, had a bit of difficulty there trying to connect with Barrister Ama Abraham. We lost him due to the network there. But I'd like to say a big thank you to all of our guests this evening. Khalid Barao is the SSA to the Executive Governor of Bauchi State on Empowerment. Dixon Erebo, a member of the People's Democratic Party. Please get well soon. And, of course, Ama Abraham, a State Chairman of the PDP Abia State. Gentlemen, once again, thank you for your time. Well, this is where we drop the curtains. In case you missed out, you can catch up on our YouTube platform. That's at News Central TV. You can also choose to follow us on social media. The handle is there on your screen. You can choose to follow me personally at Dakpo at Digboye. Until I come your way tomorrow, good night.